Hey y'all, this is Coach Jay, and I am so excited to bring you another video all about women building amazing businesses online. And again, I'm Coach Jay. I'm a leadership coach, and my specialization is what we would call automate to regulate, honey, which is basically you're automating your content so that you can regulate your emotions and create more cash flow in your online education business. So I do believe that women should digitize and monetize their intelligence. And I've been doing this work as a coach for 5 years, and we are definitely more into teaching people how to be here. We are moving into the fifth industrial revolution. And this video is a little bit controversial because I'm going to be talking about something that I believe in my heart of hearts that we haven't thought deep enough. And since no one is saying it, I will. It is time for us to explore who are we when no one needs us. And I'm talking about women. We are moving into an age where we see artificial intelligence and we see a lot of relationship dynamics changing, right? So we've heard it all our lives. You know, women need men and men need women. I am not a feminist by a long shot. I am a girly girl. I do believe in beautiful relationships, but I do believe that relationships and partnerships and friendships, any type of ships, okay? It is now changing. It is the truth. A lot of things are changing, and it's throwing people off guard that have not really done the work on themselves. And so in this video, I am attempting to have I wanted to be able to encourage you to have a bold reflection session on your self concepts, on your emotional maturity, and redefining your worth beyond performance, beyond pressure, and being the strong one, right? So redefining what it means to be needed is a conversation that I think we really need to have, because there are so many people in our world that are addicted to being needed. Neediness is probably one of our biggest downfalls. And again, it goes back to all of this artificial intelligence stuff coming, right? Because now we're seeing droves of people being laid off from a lot of like government agencies and sectors. Then we also see, retail. A lot of companies and restaurants are laying off droves of people, and people are kind of freaking out like, what do I do now that I don't have a job? And it's seemingly going to take forever to get another job. Like, what do I do? And so, and I'm going to insert a joke here, but I think it's very interesting that for, you know, 5 to 7 years, a lot of people have been online really having a lot of content surrounding them tired of work. I hate this job. I can't stand this job. I don't want to go to work. And I'm tired of showing up to this job, and I don't feel any type of passion towards it. I don't feel like I have a purpose. But now that they're letting you go and you're sliding down the wall, like, I don't understand. Like, you were just, I don't get it. In 2020 to 2021, I told people that was a window right there of your next level of faith to run in and give it all you had, because that window was really the time for you to just go all in. And a lot of people didn't do that. A lot of people didn't go all in. And if they did go all in, they stopped when it got a little bit difficult, right? They were afraid to pivot. They were afraid to change. When people like myself took that time to run in with full force, trying to figure it out, we won. We created many clients. We were able to bless and be blessed by so many different opportunities and people. We saw a lot of our clients do very well. A lot of them launched into a different identity. That's what coaching was all about. Some people gave up after about maybe 2021, 2022. People started to just like, throw up the white flag. They went to work. Some people just quit altogether. Some people just, kind of took off a little bit and just kind of went within. And business is not easy, and it's really not, but it gets to be a way for you to create ease in your life. We learn to feel significant by being useful, and that usefulness shows up in how we mother, how we partner, how we serve clients, how we are there for our significant others, like our spouses, and keep everything running smoothly in our business, in our home. But over time, though, this turns into emotional burnout because our worth becomes tied to output and obligation. So, in all honesty, most of us feel like being needed becomes our invisible job description. And when no one needs us, when the kids grow up, when the relationship is gone, when the clients finish the program or their contract, many women start to feel lost. They start to feel irrelevant and even low-key depressed. I mean, that's just facts. And I know that this is something that I had to work on myself, being divorced, right? Because at first, and when I was in my 20s, I had this mind that I didn't want to be divorced. I didn't want to be, and when I didn't want to be divorced, meaning I didn't want to be a single mother. I never had that intent in my mind. Like, even before I got married, like, honey, don't play. I was not trying to be anybody's baby mama, right? And getting married, was like, okay, now we can have a baby because I want to do things in the right order. But it still ended up divorce. So I always tell people, like, the only thing that separates myself and women who are quote unquote baby mothers are, in some cases, many cases, just the proof of legitimacy. And I want to make sure I'm prefaced by saying this too, because I don't want people to take this the wrong way, that you know who your baby daddy is. Okay. Most women know, but with marriage, there is that legitimacy there. However, we know that there are exceptions, but there are a lot of women that had the wrong idea about relationships in the first place, including myself. And that goes without saying, that just because you didn't know something doesn't mean you're still not responsible and accountable for what you have done. Unfortunately, we live in a world that it doesn't matter if you knew or not. It doesn't matter if you were raised in it or not. You are still responsible for even the things that you were ignorant about. You are still responsible, and you have to pick up the pieces and heal yourself from things that no one taught you. That just goes without saying, that you are still a purpose, and you are obligated to have a sense of responsibility, even if you didn't know what you were doing. Amen, somebody. So being needed, like I said, becomes that job description that no one really talks about, because when no one needs us, like I said, and everybody goes on with their life, you're still there. So what happens when you come to grips with the reality of that? And let's just go here. What is neediness? What is the definition of neediness? It's an over reliance on others for emotional stability, validation, identity, or survival. So it shows up in several different ways. Wanting others to confirm our value, feeling safe when we are by ourselves. No, let me take that back. Feeling unsafe when we're by ourselves. And seeking attention or roles to feel seen. That's good. That's good. But here's the twist that many high functioning women secretly need. They need to know that there is a sense of neediness within them. They have to feel needed, not outwardly, but emotionally. They're dependent on being needed to feel important and to feel like they matter. So they overgive, they overwork, they overcommit to things. They say yes to everything, but it's to avoid the discomfort of simply being still within themselves. I'm telling you, I've walked this walk. I know what I'm talking about. My daughter is 17 years old. She's about to move on with her life. Okay. She's about to go to college in a year or so. Her birthday is in February. So she'll be 18 when she graduates. And, and I don't know. She may get to a place she'll be like, Mommy, I want to stay with you forever. I don't know. But I have to be ready for that conversation. I have to be ready for that reality, because, just because I said that I don't want to marry again does not mean that she doesn't want to. I still tell her that marriage is a good idea. It's a good idea when you are with someone that actually loves you for real. and not only loves you for real, that you want to build a lifetime of joy with. And there is a sense of provision, a sense of protection, a sense of spiritual navigation between the both of you, but more so from that person. And I think that that is something that, I don't like, even if I don't, I don't want it for myself, that doesn't mean I don't want it for my kid. You see what I'm saying? Or my kid has the liberty of choosing for herself, but I want her to be able to make that choice. But at the end of the day, she's going to college. I have to face the reality of possibly being by myself during that time. And I had to do the work because my entire identity at that time was wrapped up in being a mom. And so when you have an identity that's wrapped around being a mother and you skip womanhood, right? Because most girls go from girls to being women, to being mothers, and they skip that whole womanhood phase. What happens is that we identify ourselves as mothers and feeling needed instead of just being us. So when it comes down to being resourceful, that's your ability to access clarity, to gain solutions, direction, and confidence from within, even when life feels unsteady and uncertain. So it's not about having all the answers. I saw, several creators talk about how independent women are masculine, independent women are this. I beg to differ. And I know we have a society that celebrates and really upholds daughtership in women. And what I mean by that is that inner child or inner little girl instead of embracing women. And we have to be very careful of the vernacular that we set because, in so many ways, we are completely fine with being celebrated as little girls in women's bodies and not adhering to the fact that we need to allow men to choose women over the little girl within us. And I really think that, I don't know when that's going to come because there's nothing cute, in my opinion, about being an immature little girl with a man and you're not able to take care of yourself if something happens to him. Because that does happen. It infantilizes the brain of women. So I want women to really aim to be resourceful, and independence is a sub part of that. And independence does not mean feminist. It does not mean feminism. It does not mean that it is anti-feminine. It actually really, really means that this woman is able to get solutions and she has a community and a network of people to help her. I really want us to start having the sense of network and a sense of understanding, and to understand you may have to invest in a network and you have to have money to do that. You need to pay people to help you. You need to have access to capital or access to credit or access to cash to be able to help to pay people to help you. Yes, because money is currency. So it really is about, leading yourself through uncertainty, pivoting with strategy, understanding that this world is navigated for women via strategy and psychology rather than emotions and just willy-nilly in it, right? In this economy, in this new era of AI that we are in, with, I just wrote something down not too long ago about artificial general intelligence, AGI. That is coming up the pipeline. And AGI is basically any cognitive task that a human can do. In other words, this type of intelligence, artificial intelligence, is completely taking the human being out altogether. So every single cognitive thing that a human being can do, AGI is supposed to fulfill that. Now, many people call it very scary, but that's a reality of evolution. The Homo sapien, which is us, the person, the human being, the species of the human, we are starting to prove ourselves as really invaluable. Really unvaluable. More and more humanity moves into, or the world moves into, the era of humanoids and hybrids. But being a complete human being is being challenged right now. Like, do we really need people with souls? Yes, but kind of not, because this world is governed by a few people. And humans need sleep. Humans need to rest. Humans need to take off. Humans have mental health stuff going on. And all of this stuff that women are going through right now with, mental health and emotional instability and this this damsel in distress mindset, and looking for people to help them, and looking for people to save them in religion, and we're looking for a savior, we're looking for the Messiah, we're looking for that and the third, we're looking for a man, we're looking for a woman, we're looking for everybody, we're looking for our parents. Everybody's looking for someone outside themselves, instead of understanding what skills do I need to create within, and I need to understand and equip myself with tools that's going to allow me to operate in a world that's changing every single day. Because every single day we wake up, there's something new. Something's going on. Every time we wake up, there's something new with ChatGPT. There's something new, a new system rolled out. A new executive order has been signed. The world is loud. Okay? So you got to get to a place where you believe in your ability to create outcomes regardless of everything that's going on around you. Because everything is moving. I've been telling people this for years. You got to realize that things are moving by the speed of light. And many women are facing quiet identity crisis. And this is why this matters. This is why this video matters. Inflation is up. Okay? AI is changing industries left and right. Business is now happening faster. You have to pivot faster than you did last time. Emotional burnout is real. People are quitting in real time. But when external systems shift, so must your internal foundations. But if a woman's self-worth is tied to being needed, she will collapse when no one is pulling on her. That's not leadership. That's not self-led. That's emotional codependence all day. And that's emotional codependence disguised as service. How can I be of service? I need to be of service to something. Let me tell you something. Now you got to find a way to be of service without you being there. Here we go. What you really need to pursue right now is to start looking at your business completely different. And I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you what I heard. This season is not about chasing more degrees and more certifications and all this other stuff, going back to school to get this. It's not even about people needing you. You got to get out of there, because like I said, people are being laid off left and right. And now they're crashing out, as the young people say. I'm 41 years old. So the crash out term is so befitting for this generation. But it's really interesting, because we complained about how much work gets on our nerves. We're tired of work, and oh my goodness. And I know we just didn't come here to work and pay bills. But then when you get laid off, all of a sudden, what am I going to do? Because you live in capitalism. Capitalism doesn't go away because you're having an identity crisis. Capitalism does not stop just because you're having a crash out. Capitalism and your bills do not stop, okay, just because you're going through a divorce. None of that stops when you are going through back and forth with your parents, and you are going no contact and all this other stuff. This is what I want you to think about. It's about pursuing things that strengthen your emotional, financial, and spiritual autonomy. I am not a feminist. I am a feminine woman who believes that you should find so much solidarity within yourself. You should find so much peace within being by yourself, that you fill yourself up with love. And I think this is kind of I want to say this is what Eartha Kitt stated, and I'm summarizing obviously, but she said something to the effect of, I want to fill myself with love, and fill myself up with so much joy that I find the person, or I attract a person that I can share myself with, because I'm so full of myself. The term "full of yourself" has become so taboo in our society. Like, oh, you just full of yourself. You actually should be that. You should love yourself that much. You should become self-centered. Because when we center other people, we become performative. We start to, we need to abide by their standards in order to feel relevant. And we are constantly trying to find ourselves, because a lot of us don't like ourselves. We like to be in our own company. When I hear people say, I'm just so bored, like, oh, my phone is so dry. Why can't you just sit there and be bored? There's nothing wrong. Boredom is peace. I'm just so bored. I feel like I don't ever have anything to do. Sometimes boredom is good. You're out of the way. You don't have any drama in your life. Some people need chaos to feel like they're doing something. And I think women need to stop pursuing chaos. We need to stop pursuing chaos. And when I say chaos, I mean You're seeking drama to feel like you need a story to tell people, and you feel like I don't have anything to tell people. Like I hear people's drama. Like I would rather you just like what in your life, like why do you need an elevated chaotic nervous system in order to feel needed? Right. So in your business, like, yes, we are professional problem solvers, but find a different way to be of service. And sometimes that being of service doesn't mean you always have to be active and be in people's face in order to be of service. You can create a course and be of service. You can create a YouTube video or a TikTok video or Instagram reel that is full of value and still be carries your TikTok or your YouTube to the right people, and it hits them and it gives them a sense of strategy to go on. And they can say, wow, this video really was happening right now. There's a shift in how we see value. You don't have to be in people's face in order to be of service. This isn't about chasing certifications. This isn't about, I need another hustle. I need a second job. I need all these other things. We really need to strengthen that autonomy within us. So number one, let's just kind of go, because I have a couple of things I want to bring up. Number one, pursue self-concept over all of these other things. Like strategy is very important, but I want you to pursue self-concept. What do you think of yourself? Learn how to think, learn how to believe, and identify as a powerful, complete woman, regardless of your roles. We are always told to believe that we need this person, we need a man, we need a husband, we need, in order for us to feel complete, we need children to feel complete. Now, even though, yes, I love being a mother, I absolutely think it's one of the best jobs in the world, but my daughter has to extend past me, right? So even though I will forever be a mother, right? But I also have to come to grips with that at some point in my life, I'm going to be spending more time as Jay than I will be as mom. Whereas, in the former sense, I was always mom and then Jay, right? So it's going to flip regardless of your role. Number two, pursue resourcefulness over being independent. So independent women, they get a bad rap. I'm all for independent women. I think independent, it's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to do everything yourself, you go right on ahead. I ain't got that kind of time. Like I'm not a now when it comes down to business, I'm more so about systems. I'm more so about automations. So it's really important that I have a streamlined way of doing things. So resourcefulness has always been something that I believe in. So I don't wait for someone to tell me I'm a good person. I don't wait for anybody to tell me I'm a good coach. That used to validate me in the past. And I think everybody got to learn stages of validation, because at the beginning when you really don't know and you're having this extreme sense of imposter syndrome, sometimes you're like, I need people to tell me that I'm doing a good job, because if I don't, then I don't know if I'm doing a good job. But it takes people to say, you don't know how much that shifted me. You don't know how much that training, resonated with me. And I was able to go and do that and look at what I was able to accomplish with your advice, with your leadership, right? So you need some of that at the beginning to be able to validate yourself in the world of business, right? So recognition is important so that you can build a confidence in your field, in your industry, to do other things, because proof of work is a part of business. I mean, it just is. It's just the truth. So, but I want you to get to a place where you're serving so many people and you are getting that social proof. But at some point, I want you to stop waiting on applause. I want you to get up with an applause in your spirit. Build the skill of taking action and trusting your voice, even when no one validates it yet. Number three, pursue emotional regulation over emotional exhaustion. Get to a place where rest becomes a part of your wealth strategy. Now, I'm not saying sit around and be lazy all day, but rest means to, maybe you want to read a book. And it doesn't always have to be a professional business book. It can be a, romance novel. It could be nonfiction. I think that's another, I mean, not nonfiction, fiction. I think we have so much nonfiction in our life and personal development books that sometimes you want to read a little bit of imagination. Like, I think a lot of times too that women don't dream anymore because we're not taking in enough imaginary types of, things to extend and to wake our imagination. I'm not saying to revert back to being a kid again, but I think that is really important to keep the imagination rich. Peace is a business model. My goodness, that's a download. Stop ignoring your nervous system for the sake of showing up. Pursue, that's number 4. Pursue wealth that reflects who you really are. Okay. So money is very important in the wealth building process because you need money to take care of yourself. I mean, you just do. Like, let's not act like it doesn't. Like, you need money, right? Because money provides you the way of, credit and, capital. You need to produce cash flow in your business so that you can prove that your business is actually something valid to invest in, right? So capital and things of that nature. So but get to a place where wealth is not just about money, right? It's about being not only with assets and land and property and all these kind of things, but to be in an aligned, scalable, soulful money space, that you're bringing in money even when you're asleep, bringing in money even when you're shopping, whatever. Laying down watching TV. Okay. Soulful money that supports your freedom, not just your brand. You need to bring in money because of who you are as a woman. I believe women should be digitizing their knowledge. I strongly believe that. And in fact, I want you to get so fixated on creating that you don't work, that it's almost like, I don't want you to feel like you have to be active in a job in order to create money in your business. I think you should really, really go all in on freedom. I think you need to double down on freedom. I know there's something very scary for a lot of women, but this can be of service. You cutting on a camera, you putting on that laptop, you having that iPad up or whatever, and you are literally giving people game just by being who you are today. You're not here to be everybody's crutch. Even with artificial intelligence happening, you're here to build something real, lasting, and aligned. And I want you to really get comfortable using AI as part of your task management and automation process. But I want you to also think about, like, I'm doing all these things for what? Get back to the notebook and the pen. Being needed can be very comforting, but it can be a trap if it's the only way that you feel valuable in your life. Because the real version of you, no matter what anybody says, this is the woman who is clear, who is whole and complete, rested, self-led, and is the one who attracts everything that she desires. Like, digital courses, like, when I tell women to digitize their intelligence and digitize their life, digitize and monetize their life, that means taking all these skills and all these things that we've did for corporations for the last 5, 10, 15, 25 years, teach it, right? So that you don't continue to have to get up and chase money all the time and proving, but you are in a space where you are becoming. So let me know. How this particular video resonated with you. Put in the chat below. I choose myself. I choose myself. And when you choose yourself, you're going to do whatever it takes in your human, womanly power, honey, because it is something beautiful to be manifested in this realm as a woman. I don't care what nobody say. It's the best thing ever. But I want you to also start thinking about, how can I support myself in my feminine? Because a lot of women feel like, I need to, how can I stay in my feminine? And they think it's a performative thing. I always say, if you're creating and you're actively pursuing a life of abundance, even as a stay-at-home mother, that's what I am. I call myself a stay-at-home mom. I am a stay-at-home mom. I stay at home when my daughter goes to school. Immediately people, think that this is self-regulated. How can you, because I'm being of service, but I'm also embracing autonomy. I don't have to be in everybody's face to feel useful. So put in the chat below, I choose myself. And when you do that, then I want you to start activating within. And when I say activate, that means just really start having the self-talk that is embedded with, I am creating, and I'm always coming up with amazing ideas that are monetizable to help my ideal client fix her life, fix their life, fix its life, and pursue that with all that's in you, because this is going to stand the test of time. You've got to get to a place where you trust yourself, because who you are today, with people needing you, there's going to come a day when no one is going to need you anymore. And you got to stand firm that you are still of purpose. You are still in purpose as just existing and having things come to you just because you exist. I hope this video helped you. Feel free to subscribe and share this video to anyone you know that it will resonate with them. And let me know in the comment section if you loved it, and tell me what you got from this video. I wish you all the best. And until next time, Coach J signing off.